Hello, my name is Monica. I'm a trainer and supervisor at the Psychosynthesis Trust. I'm making this video just to help you along really with what to do if you start to feel quite overwhelmed or triggered by any of the things that come up in the trainings that you'll be joining. So, we ask that during the trainings you try and remain connected to your mind, body, and feelings. And so, inevitably, there may be things that come up for you. You can be triggered by the topic that's being discussed, you can be triggered by certain words, tone of voice, feelings that come up, mannerisms, or anything really. And when you do get triggered, I suppose what I mean is that you start to feel quite overwhelmed, have very powerful feelings, feel very overwhelmed. You may feel panicky, you may feel very frozen and disconnected, or you just may feel very tearful. So first thing to do really is to let your trainer and the assistant know in the group. And you can do this by messaging them on Zoom. And the assistant may be able to take you out of the room into a virtual room and help you find what you need before going back to the training. After the training, we do recommend that you process whatever has happened. And you can do this by speaking to your personal therapist, writing in your journal, or even bringing the topic up for discussion in your RD group. When it does happen, there are some things that you can do to help yourself. First of all, let me just explain what happens to you when you do feel triggered. We have different parts of our brain, and one part of our brain is the limbic part of our brain, which is the emotional part. And sometimes it can get triggered and a lot of stress hormones are released into our system. And this then has a very physiological reaction on our bodies. And so, we may feel our heart beating quickly, or we may feel like we've got a stomach ache or something. So what I'm going to do is just run through a few very basic, very simple grounding techniques. And these will help you to come back into the here and now. And hopefully will kind of limit some of the flooding. So first of all, I'll look at some sensory techniques. So the first sensory technique is touch. So I happen to have a crystal here, but you can use absolutely anything you have. So it can be a coin, it can be a pen, it can be an object, an ornament, anything that's lying around. So what you do is just really focus your attention on the sensation of touch and how it feels. So start to think about how it feels. Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it hot? Is it heavy? Is it light? And then just run your fingers around it. So on this side, for example, it's quite rough, a little bit powdery. On the other side, it's very smooth and my fingers just slide across it. It's quite cold, whereas this other side is quite warm to touch. So what happens then is that because I'm focusing on an immediate sensation, I'm brought back to the present time. And another sensory technique that you can use is smell. So again, see what you have near you. So I have some coffee, and I'm going to try and show you without product placement. So I'm opening the lid, and I'm just going to smell the aroma of the coffee, which is quite strong. If you do use smell as a way to ground yourself, try and pick something which is strong, which gives you a bit of a kick and sort of opens your eyes a little bit. You can use tea tree oil, perfume, aftershave, soap, anything really has quite a strong smell and will make you sit up. I'm also going to just go through a couple of cognitive grounding techniques. Now, with the cognitive techniques, what happens is that you start to use a different part of your brain. So the neocortex is the thinking, rational part of your brain. So you start to use that part of your brain, and what happens is that it impacts on the limbic part of your brain and closes it down a little bit. So for a cognitive technique, what you can simply do is just look around you and start to describe the room that you're in. So, I am in the living room. I have a picture on my wall. I have wallpaper on my right-hand side, windows behind me, a light above me. I'm sitting on a chair in front of a table, and so on. So I'm starting to think about where I am, what I'm doing, that sort of thing. Another cognitive technique you can use is to think of a theme and then go through the letters of the alphabet. So this is like a child's game that you may have played actually when you were sitting in a car as a child, trying to while away the time. So, if you think of cities, for example, you start with the letter A. So a city beginning with A could be Antwerp. City beginning with B could be Birmingham. City beginning with C could be Cardiff. So as you go through the alphabet, the neocortex in your brain starts functioning, and as it functions, it will limit the emotional limbic part. And the third set of grounding techniques I wanted to show you are somatic techniques. So somatic means body techniques. So the first technique really is to find a pillow or a cushion and just hold it, squeeze it in front of you. And it's particularly good if you cover your solar plexus, which is your sort of stomach area. And that feeling can help you to feel a little bit safer and a little bit more grounded. It's kind of like having a hug or something like that. And so it releases different hormones in the brain, which are more pleasant. So things like serotonin and oxytocin are more likely to be released if you are doing this. And again, those hormones will try and balance out a little bit some of the stress hormones that are going on. And lastly, I'd like to show you another somatic technique, which is the butterfly hug. And the butterfly hug is this. So you cross your arms and tap your shoulders or the top of your arms alternately. Now, this works slightly differently because what it does is it stimulates both parts of your brain, left and the right side, alternately. And there is quite a bit of evidence around to show that this helps with processing traumatic memories and difficult memories and feelings. So I've gone through 6 very simple techniques that you can try at home. I do hope that you find these techniques useful and interesting, and I wish you all the best with the rest of your training. Thank you.